Hi, I'm Laura, and today I'm going to talk about my first year experience. So I plan to split this up into 5 sections. I plan to talk about moving in, Freshers Week, friends that you will make at uni, societies, and then last but most important is your degree as well. So I'm mainly doing this video as I'm going to study abroad in my 3rd year come August, and I feel like it'll be more like a starting uni again, like first year. Also, my brother's going to uni, so this is something that he can look at as well, just to get advice, even though he's probably heard it thousands and thousands of times from me. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, moving in. I remember feeling really excited to start uni. I remember going out and buying all my stuff, and I had like a massive pile of stuff like sitting in the corner of my living room. And yeah, at the time it didn't feel like I was buying food. It just, I don't know, in my head it didn't feel like I was going to uni. It just said, oh yeah, and I didn't think about it that much really. So yeah, I got all my stuff. I found out my accommodation. I had a double bed. Thank you. I got everything. We packed up the car. Still, even as I sat in the car driving away from home, knowing full well that I wouldn't see home until Christmas, I don't know, it still didn't feel like I was going to move out and live at uni. It didn't feel real. So I think it was when we drove down the university road heading towards my accommodation that, yeah, then I started to freak out a bit. I was really nervous, my heart was beating so much. Then the task of moving in happened. So we was unpacking the car. We had all these helpers come over and they were really nice and they helped unpack everything while I went to get my key from reception. I got my key and then we went up the flights and flights of stairs until my accommodation. Of course, it being me, my door key didn't work on the flat door, so I had to go down, get someone to help me with that. That was sorted in the end. Again, the fact that I was given, the front door didn't lock and the oven didn't work. So there were things that needed to be sorted in a few days' time. So yeah, that was the best impression. Yeah, we moved all my stuff into my room. I was like overjoyed of my room though. My room was, yeah, I loved it. I thought university rooms were going to be really horrible and really bad. For me, I think I was lucky enough to get really nice rooms. I think it was a newly renovated room as well. Yeah, and then we went into the kitchen. I was seeing that one of my housemates had already moved in. I hadn't met them yet. So yeah, we were just exploring, unpacking mainly. Then we went to explore around campus. Well, a little bit of campus. We kind of got lost and then time was ticking on, so we ended up going back to my flat having not really achieved anything. And then it was the time to say goodbye, which I had been dreading since we got there. Like, I don't know, I didn't know what to expect. I kept on saying to myself, oh, I'm going to see you in a few months' time, but yeah, I didn't know what to expect. My mum got a bit teary as expected, but we said our goodbyes and I went down to the car park and waved to them as they went off, and it was hard. I will admit it was hard. Then after they'd gone and my stuff had been officially moved in but not unpacked, I then awkwardly met 2 of my housemates. Very awkwardly. It was a very awkward conversation in one of their doorways. We met up again in the kitchen, spoke a bit more. And then some of my other housemates came in and we all introduced ourselves and it was really nice. But for me, the first night was probably my worst night at university. So I was living with 5 other people, so there's 6 of us in total. One of them wasn't moving in until the Sunday. One of them had a friend who helped her move in, so she spent the night with her. Another one, she'd come from abroad, so she and her mum were staying in a hotel, so she went back to the hotel. Another boy, he had a friend on uni, so he went to spend the night with his friend. And the other boy, he had a girlfriend at uni who's in her second year. So of course he went to spend the night with her. So I was left alone on my first night. If I was to give any advice, it would be to not be alone on your first night. I mean, in my situation, I suppose it was a bit hard since I didn't know anyone. And I'm not the kind of person who just like goes out on their own and just finds random people. Although I reckon you could probably do that in first year, like especially in Freshers Week. Like everyone just, you meet people and you say you're going to be best friends for life and you never see them again. But so yeah, I was left alone. I admit I was like really upset. Although it gave me some time to unpack and I ended up making my room look amazing. So yeah, the first night was really hard for me. I went to bed really early. I also hadn't eaten properly as I hadn't done a food shop, so I had like a few snacks that I bought with me. So yeah, I hadn't eaten properly. I hadn't seen anyone really. I was on my own and I didn't want to phone home either. I didn't want to worry my mum saying that I was on my own and I was upset. And two, I didn't want to be the person to phone home straight away. I wanted to kind of get my independence a bit. So yeah, that night was hard. Yeah, real hard. So yeah, now we move on to the Freshers Week. So Freshers Week was really fun. Despite the first night, it was really fun and I really enjoyed it. So the Sunday, everyone had moved in then and we kind of all get to know each other then. Me and one girl, we went exploring around our home university city. We had some very long, awkward conversations, which will happen. It will happen. And we sat in a park and talked a bit more. And there maybe have been some awkward silences. That's nice. We walked around. It's really sunny, really nice. Then we came back to the flat and we met everyone else. And then that night, we kind of all planned to go out. Two of the guys had ended up going to Prees and we never saw them when we went out. But we went out to the club on campus and we went to an event called Freshbook. I really like that idea. Like, everyone wears t-shirts and on the back it's kind of like a Facebook profile. So you have your name, your relationship status, and people can come and write on you. So yeah, it's really nice. Although I feel like most of us are rookies when it comes to clubbing. On Facebook there's been like loads of advertisers saying, oh, you need to buy your tickets for the freshers events if you want to get in. None of us had done that, so it was like, okay, we'll head over kind of early. I think we got there at 9:15 and it was dead. Like, completely dead. We were the first 4 people in that club. Yeah, most universities, I feel like people start going out after 10. So yeah, we was just kind of like awkwardly in there. They had a table football, so we played that like for half an hour. But yeah, then it started getting more lively. We done some dancing and had some drinks. Again, we didn't drink too much. I think it was very clear that we were freshers and this is probably the first time any of us had gone out properly. And yeah, then the rest of the week kind of continued like that. One day, the 3 of us girls, we went out and we went on a boat tour, which was really cool. We went to a few other events. We went to a school disco event, which was pretty cool. We also went to a pub on campus and we met some people there. And this is one thing that I will always remember people telling me during Freshers Week, and it was so true. You meet people and everyone's so friendly during Freshers Week. It's really nice. Everyone's nice on Freshers Week. So you just go up and you talk to them and you get to know them. Maybe add them on social media. And then you make these plans. Like with these guys, we was like, oh yeah, we should go camping one time. Like, okay. I never saw them again. I still got them on Facebook, and I see their stuff on Facebook, and it's like, is it weird if I like their stuff on Facebook? It's like, I've only spoken to them that one night. Freshers' Fair towards the end of the week. Which, yeah, I plan to talk about societies in a bit more detail, but it was really cool. Just, I feel like even if you're not bothered about society, just go there to get the free stuff. I remember being given like a paper brown bag about this big, and in there was like tin beans, condensed milk, like condensed chocolate milk in a can, like sweets, packet stuff. It was all free. As a student, you need to get free stuff now. We ended up going back, and then our housemate was like, oh my gosh, I love all this that's in there, so we just ended up giving it to him. There was also so at my university we had different colleges, and there was a college sort of like buffet to get to know everyone in the college. So yeah, we went there for the free food again. There was loads of free food there, and then towards the end of that event they made an announcement like, oh yeah, just take whatever free food you like. I remember walking back with a whole big tray of sandwiches that never got eaten, but because it was free, I went for it. So Freshers Week is a strange week. A lot can happen, but in Freshers Week I met the 3 other people I'm living with now. So Freshers Week is a strange week. A lot can happen, but in Freshers Week I met the 3 other people I'm living with now in second year. And even though I lived with 2 of them, I don't think I would have met the other one anywhere else but in Freshers Week. So yeah, I feel like Freshers Week is a week to spend time with your flatmates, but to also find new people that you might get on well with. Not everyone gets on well with their flatmates, so it's an opportunity while everyone is super happy to kind of talk to people and maybe try and make some friendships out of Freshers Week. Although I remember a few weeks after Freshers Week, one of my flatmates had seen someone we'd met at Freshers Week, and she shouted at her, she ran over to her, she was like, oh my gosh, hi! And the poor girl had no idea who she was. So yeah, you can make friendships or you can make acquaintances that then forget you. So yeah, going on from that, I'll talk about friends now. So thankfully for me, I had an amazing flat that I was placed with, and the 2 girls in that flat became my best friends at uni. Yeah, we'd often just have movie nights, get to know each other, baking sessions, explorations. Like one time, me and one of my friends, we went on a walk, which I think online it said it was like a 2-hour walk. It took us like 4 hours. Plus we went over through some fields, through some animal fields, over some fences, got a bit lost. And this was in January, so it was freezing cold. But yeah, I was lucky enough to have them. I feel if I hadn't been placed with them, it would have been a bit more of a struggle. But I feel like it is all about making an effort. If you don't put the effort in, then you're not going to make friends. For me, I feel like it's easier to make lasting friendships through societies, which I'll talk about in a bit, rather than in seminars. So, I mean, I had friends in seminars, but I'd only see them in seminars, which was a bit disappointing, but I mean, it is how it is. I had people to sit with in lectures, I had people to talk with in seminars, and we all walked back together to our accommodation, and it was really nice, but that was the only time I'd see them. And they were the kind of people who had a big group of friends anyway, so I kind of felt like, oh, I don't want to try and push it if it's not going to happen. Like, don't go to university thinking that everyone you meet will be a best friend for life. They're not going to. But sometimes I feel like even if it's just someone you talk to in a lecture, it's better than nothing at the end of the day. This is a piece of advice I've given to my brother. If you don't get on with your housemates, you're not obliged to get on with them and be best friends with them. Even though, for me, my housemates did become my best friends. It might not be the same for everyone. So yeah, I would encourage people to go out and find new people and make an effort to get to know them. And yeah, what I realise now that I regret is that everyone in first year wants as many friends as they would like. So make that first leap. Offer to maybe go for a coffee or to go to the cinema together. And then, yeah, it will happen. But yeah, as I said, moving on now to societies. Societies are probably the best place to find friends. Yeah, societies, you join because you have an interest in that society, and then everyone else in that society has the same interest as you, so there's something for you at least to talk about. My one regret about societies is that I didn't join as many as I'd like. I joined one, technically. And even in that one I only joined because one of my housemates wanted to go on it. I was afraid to join some societies. Admit I'm a Harry Potter geek, and I would have loved to have joined the Hogwarts Society. But I remember at Freshers' Fair going around and I saw them there and they looked too intense for me. So I was scared to join, and I was scared about what other people would think. I was scared to go back to my flat and be like, oh yeah, I joined the Hogwarts Society, and everyone there would be like, okay, you need to calm down. So yeah, I'd encourage just to join whatever you want to join. And there you'll find friends. Like, you will. Like, you can't go to a society every week and not make long-lasting friends. I joined one society called Trakemp. It's a tracking society around Kent, funny enough. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I became a committee member for it in second year, which didn't go too well, so we'll just ignore that. But yeah, I really enjoyed first year tracking. It was going around places around near where my uni was, and just seeing like the countryside or the towns, the seaside. There was a lot of nature as well, like saw horses and goats. Yeah, and like going on a walk every other Sunday for 4 hours. Of course you're gonna meet people and get to know them really well. Often the walks would end up in a pub at the end, and they're like, yeah, you get to talk to more people, get to know them a bit better. Yeah, I met some really good people there. I have gone out a few times with a few of them as well. So it's a lot easier to get to know people when you're on a society. Plus, if you're with them for, say, 4 hours, you can't just do that 4 hours in silence anyway. So yeah, I'd encourage people to go to societies. Enjoy whatever you want to join. And don't be afraid. Like, usually in Freshers Week, there's a lot of free taster sessions as well, which is where I met my third housemate in second year. Me and my flatmate, we went to a Bacon Society taster, which I was really wanted to join that as well. And it was just like decorating biscuits, and we met her there, and we kind of met up again in Freshers Week. So yeah, we got to know her a bit better. The society itself wasn't really run that well, so yeah, it was a bit disappointing, but I mean, we met some people there. Also, in first year, on a whim, I don't know what came over me. It was probably my best moment of first year, but it's also my most impulsive moment. So my flatmate, she was part of a classic society, and yeah, she was going on a trip to Rome, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds so cool, I'd love to go to Rome one day. And on Facebook, I joined society Facebook groups. I wasn't part of their societies, but I joined their Facebook groups. And on the travel society, it was like, oh, we still have a few places left on this classics trip if anyone would like to come. So I was like, yeah, I know someone going on it. I won't be on my own. So yeah, I just went for it. And yeah, I contacted the people 2 weeks before going to Rome, and then 2 weeks later I was in Rome, which is really cool. I had never been that far abroad before. The furthest abroad I'd probably been was France, and that was a school trip. So yeah, going to Italy was something crazy, and I loved it so much. We went to around Rome, we went to Pompeii as well, and that was with a society, and so many societies have all these cool trips, which I would definitely encourage you to go on. Like, I've told my brother, like, go for it. If there's a trip you want to go on, just go and do it. You won't regret it at all. Yeah, I loved it. That was the best thing about first year for me. So yeah, let's talk about my degree. What you're going to university for. So I study English literature and creative writing. And I have to admit, first year for me, degree-wise, was the worst. I think first year, degree-wise, is kind of just introducing you to it. So for me, there was a compulsory module of romanticism, which I didn't like at all. And then I think there was 3 other options I could choose for literature. And 3 of them, those 3 were really broad aspects of literature. One of them was that I took was America through the ages. So it started from the Puritans and kind of went up to the 60s. So that was a very broad period. And like, it was a different book each week. And yeah, I don't know, I didn't really like that module as much. I found the reading was quite dull for that one. And my other one was 20th century. I loved the reading for 20th century, most of it. For me, it was just seminar leader. Because I'm quite shy, and in seminars you can't be as shy. So for me, if I contribute something, at the end of the day, I feel achieved at that. Which is probably silly, but I don't know, I find I struggle to say something, always fearing that I'll be wrong. So yeah, sometimes I wouldn't contribute because I didn't feel confident enough. There was one time we was doing a debate, so one side of the table had to be pro or something, and the other side had to be against. And I'm still used to the where you put your hand up to say what you want to say. At university, it's just say it. So everyone was shouting and arguing with each other, and I just didn't feel confident or comfortable in that situation. So I said nothing, and I remember the seminar leader, she picked it up and she announced it in front of everyone. I remember that got me really upset. So yeah, the seminar leaders and the content of literature in my first year wasn't the best. Second year is so much better because you get to choose what you want to do, and the seminar leaders have been so much better as well. So yeah, hold on. First year, degrees wise, you have to kind of get through it, and then second year, you kind of get to do what you want to do. Creative writing wise, in first year, I done a fiction module and a poetry module. I really loved both of those seminar leaders, and I really loved the reading in both of them as well. I felt, even in this year, I've kind of preferred creative writing over literature side of my module, which I didn't think I would. But yeah, I've, like, in my seminars, it's always been encouraged to try your best with your writing, and it's a place where you can go with your writing and just discuss it. We'd often have workshops where you'd submit a piece and everyone would go through it and give you advice, which I think is a really good, it's really good to get advice back on what you've done, and it's in a comfortable environment. See, I really like that part of my degree. When looking at your degree in first year, just remember that your first year is kind of, the university's trying to give you as much as they possibly can, so it's normally quite wide. So in your first year, you can kind of go through as many things as possible in that year, and then maybe find something that you really like. So in second year, you can go on and do those sort of modules, and then finally in your third year doing a dissertation. I would expect first year degree to be insightful, but I wouldn't go into first year expecting to do exactly what you want to do straight away. For instance, my brother's doing paleontology at university, and in his first year he's going to be mainly doing geology. So he'll have the option to change to do a geology course instead of paleontology if he doesn't want to. Second year, there's more modules on paleontology, micropaleontology, anything like that. So yeah, first year is kind of a taster into it. And also first year, it doesn't really count towards your degree. Everyone said that to me. It's like, oh yeah, first year don't count. I mean, try your best in first year, of course. But yeah, because it's so wide and it's maybe not something exactly that you want to do, don't be put down if your grades aren't exactly the best, because when you start doing something that you really love, your grades will definitely pick up. Yeah, I think that's it. Bye.